Welcome back in Guardians for another edition, rather edition of a guide slash walkthrough from yours truly, Sky. Now, if you're here, again, we're just going to cut to the chase. We're going to get to it. If you're here today, that is because you've already watched the Legend Lost Sector video that we put out last week, not that long ago, and you are now ready to move on to doing a solo flawless Master Lost Sector. Not only just for the notch under your belt, but also because it is helpful if you are one of those people grinding out Guardian ranks. If that is the case, I'm going to assume two things. One, that you don't need me to talk about build crafting because you've already started to figure that out for yourself. Therefore, I'm going to skip that portion of this video. If you really want to look into that, you can look up the Legend Lost Sector video that's on the channel here and look at the build crafting section of that video. So we're just not going to take time to do that in this video. And then the second thing I'm going to assume is that you're more so looking for strategies to optimize or perfect the way that you're running Master Lost Sectors, since completing Master Lost Sectors solo, obviously, and then flawlessly is one of the best ways to get loot currently before the changes that are going to come in season 21 in the Lost Sector system. If you really want insight on how I'm thinking about my build and the approaches I take to these encounters, please go watch the other video. But today I'm just going to talk about the build that I have. Again, I'm not going to break it down. I'm just going to show you the build I brought into the Master Lost Sector. I'm going to walk you through the Master Lost Sector, and then we'll be done for the day. And hopefully from that, you're able to learn a little bit more about strategies and ways to approach a Master Lost Sector versus a Legend Lost Sector. Again, if this pace is a little bit too fast for you, or you find out that you're really not ready, we really encourage you to go back to the Legend Lost Sector video, as I do take a little bit more time to break down the builds, to break down certain strategies that I think everyone should be utilizing inside of Lost Sectors. Get it? Got it? Good. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. So for this Lost Sector, I am rocking the Apion Leap build. Again, we kind of mentioned this build before, but the main goal here is to make my life easier by suspending things, and then also conserving ammo by using my strand abilities to go ahead and stun champions versus using all of my ammo. Right there, again, if you want to look at the specifics, you can go ahead and pause at any of these portions to look at it a little bit differently, but the whole premise is that between my weapons and my fragments and aspects, I'm really trying to build in the ability to suspend, but then also benefit from the threatlings and tangles that I'll be creating along the way. Ultimately saving my super to do big chunks of boss damage, as well as help clear ads and manage the areas while I'm there. Here are the parameters for this specific Lost Sector. You really want to make sure that with anti-barrier as well as unstop, these are the two more aggressive champion types, so make sure you have things in your ability and or weapons to be able to take them out. So let's go ahead and get ready to jump into the actual Lost Sector itself. For the purposes of today's walkthrough, I'm going to go ahead and exaggerate certain mistakes and quote-unquote errors within the Lost Sector to be able to show you different tactics that you can take to get yourself out of trouble and still complete a solo flawless run. Ideally, for a lot of these mistakes that I'm going to show, you're just not going to make them in the first place, so you don't have to worry about them, but hopefully these can be helpful examples of ways to get out of trouble or just strategies to employ so that you're able to stay alive, keep your solo flawless run going, and get the clear. Alright, so arguably the Conflicts is one of the easier Lost Sectors, but sometimes we can not take the easy stuff, quote unquote easy stuff, seriously and make silly mistakes. So we're just gonna go ahead and watch the footage. So we jump in. One of the first thing we're doing is surveying the landscape. I want to find an angle either by jumping or finding a certain crevice I can get into to find out what's in front of me so that I can plan out at least the next 3 to 5 steps so I'm prepared for each encounter. Again, when I jump up, I see these unstoppable champions, and therefore being prepared for that encounter, using my strand abilities to suspend and then my Thunderlord to burst down some big damage and go ahead and get them weakened, if not kill them. For whatever reason, Thunderlord is still like slept on, even with the machine gun buff, which is kind of weird. But again, just going ahead and playing my life, not making silly mistakes. I understand the unstopped attack, so timing it out, I make sure I get behind cover so I don't get hit with it, play my shield, and then keep it moving. Never undervalue the moment to just take 3 seconds to load all your weapons. It could definitely save you. We move forward. I just throw the tangle just because I wanted to throw the tangle. There's really no strategic reason. I just wanted to get rid of it. And so again, very similar concept, jumping and playing cover to get a survey of the next steps. And so I already see the anti-barrier champion and know that that's going to be the biggest target because anti-barrier champions are so aggressive. So you see me, I'm playing that cover, using half my body behind cover because I see those snipers, and then being able to do damage in and out of cover as we're going forward. The snipers and the other enemies are going to be able to be taken care of fairly easily, but those on top of getting hit by the anti-barrier champion, it's just bad news. So you want to be able to take those out. So again, continuing to peek cover. I'm still in the first part of it, but again, I feel very much in control given the fact that I know where everything is. I'm not rushing, and I'm using my ability to peek and find those corners. Again, I feel fairly comfortable with this lost sector. So again, just being able to know the layout really does help me. And also being comfortable with the Titan jump. I am using the burst glide option. And so knowing that I'm able to use the second jump kind of as a mobility measure. Although Titans aren't really known for their mobility per se, knowing I'm able to use that first jump to just get a survey of the area I want to look at, and then that second jump to get out of danger if need be, knowing that I just don't want to get sniped out of the sky. And so I'm saving that second jump in most cases just to be able to move myself into better positioning. Again, if you're feeling comfortable, there's no need to move at this specific pace, but I just want to be able to show you all the different angles. So if you go back and pause, you can kind of see what I'm really looking at when I am surveying where the enemies are. As I'm moving up, I'm feeling the need to get a little aggressive, or at least that's kind of the play I want to go, is go aggressive. So I'm really not doing the survey technique anymore. I'm just pushing. And so you see that like I'm pushing and I think I'm in the clear, but then I also can see both from my visual area, but then also hear via the sound cues, the enemies that are actually surrounding me. So I'm in a bad position. I actually back up and go around to the other side, but you see I'm still moving at a slightly faster pace than I was earlier because I do want to push and move things forward. We move up, and now there's another anti-barrier champion. There's two anti-barrier champions, and so I'm using my strand ability to keep me safe with my barrier, but then also making a play around suspension. Now you see right there, that's one of the first major mistakes I want to show, is that my heavy weapon, which is Thunderlord, and it's really good for doing big boss damage or taking out those champs, I was a little bit too aggressive earlier, so if folks were paying attention to that. So now I don't actually have any heavy ammo, and the drop rates for heavy ammo are pretty low. So now, because I'm at a disadvantage, and again, obviously play your ammo better than we're doing in this example, now I have to back up. I can't be as aggressive, and now I really need to think through how I'm going to take out these anti-barrier champions because they don't play around. So the play immediately shifts from being aggressive back to a little bit passive because I don't have that backup plan of the Thunderlord that's going to help get me out of trouble. So between suspensions, my sidearm that's taking out the shield, we're able to go ahead and get rid of that anti-barrier champion. But remember, we still have another one. Thankfully, it dropped us some heavy, but again, you shouldn't bank on that even with finders on. You should always play your ammo as best you can. Still in a passive mode, I am trying to get back into that groove of surveying what's in front of me, playing cover, and getting into a good position. My waveframe grenade launcher is actually putting in a lot of work. It's the unsung hero of this lost sector today, as you'll see, and it's just helping clear out ads and keep me from getting overwhelmed by the many enemies. Also, again, as you would have noted earlier, there are void shields here, so again, it helps with that as well. There is no match game in game, I understand that, but you do get the extra burst of explosion damage when you do break a shield of the same type. So having something that's going to do that, it can't hurt, right? All right, so I got some ammo. I'm feeling my confidence again, so I'm back on the offensive. I'm pushing forward. I'm not really looking. I'm not surveying. I'm not seeing those different pieces. I know there's an anti-barrier champion there because I saw it earlier and I was putting in damage on it, but I just want to go ahead and push forward. Because I'm pushing forward, I think I have a good sense of what is in my purview. Nope, I was wrong. When you push forward and you kill a certain amount of enemies, it actually spawns more enemies. So where I thought I only had about 5 or 6 enemies, now I have, I think, about 15 or so enemies I have to deal with. So what's the play? Back up, back all the way up. As much as you may want to be aggressive, back all the way up. I'm getting chased by a champion, back all the way up, figuring out a way and getting in my head what's going to be the next plan, as I preferably would not like to die. Very much 100 Zil is playing in our favor right here, as well as having resist mods on. So even that encounter that you just saw without 100 Zil and without the resist mods, I don't think I would have survived, and that would have messed up our solo flawless run. As I said before, unstops and anti-barrier champions are very aggressive, and so as it's hopping up onto this ledge and just chasing me down, I pop my shield and get back in control of the situation. When I'm feeling confident enough to move things forward, I push forward, peek cover, still keeping cover for the most part, but peek cover to see what's in my realm. And I see that not only is the unstop catching up to us, but also about 3 or so more enemies. So I'm keeping that in mind, and I'm gonna play cover on this column to, one, bait the unstoppable so it comes into my territory where I have more control. And then also, while I'm peeking, I have a sense of how many more enemies are left behind it. This technique of baiting the champion back and forth, you can do this with mini bosses, and in some cases even bosses in the game, is called yo-yoing. Also, some folks call it kiting, but I don't know, kiting doesn't land for me, so I call it yo-yoing. But again, that ability to kind of bait and then switch, kind of like the perk, bait and switch, and get the enemy that you want in control based on the situation. Again, everything's a snowballing effect. Because I pushed too early, I ran out of heavy once, I got a heavy brick, but then I ran out of heavy ammo again. Luckily, I have Strand to come to the rescue, and I'm able to suspend and take care of that unstoppable champion. So again, ammo conservation is such a huge part of being successful, because you have to know what you have in your arsenal. You can see I'm being a little bit fancy here with the finishers, but also they serve a utility because of those threat lanes that I'm spawning with each finisher. All right, we're back on the move. I'm feeling aggressive. I'm ready to push. I'm ready to get this lost sector done with. I surely have spawned all the enemies, so there's no need to worry. Right or wrong, I actually have spawned even more enemies than I realized before. So even though I took out the enemies that came along with the unstoppable champion, now I have more enemies in my way. So before I can even push up to that final ledge where the boss is, I have to get the situation under control. Again, Strand is a really great ad control, crowd control, however you want to say it, build, and this is giving me the opportunity to stay safe while I'm also managing both the champions and the trash ads. The trash ads that honestly still hurt. So we pushed up, but we're still in a safe position. We're playing cover, we're peeking in and out. We're using the waveframe grenade launcher to our advantage, taking out these trash enemies, avoiding the boss's attack, and knowing that the next target I really need to focus on is going to be this anti-champion. Luckily, I got the stun off with my sidearm. That was a little bit of a stretch in this scenario, even with the distance, but luckily the sidearm worked. And now with 1/3 of the health gone, and knowing that anti-barrier champions definitely regen their health fast, I have a decision to make. And so how I'm going to pursue this, knowing that it's not just the anti-champion, there's other ads around there that's going to endanger my health. I opt for the semi-aggressive attack, where I actually go around the enemies, choose a little bit of a flank, and then pursue forward. This pushes me into a bad situation though, because I'm not fully considering how fast the anti-barrier champion's shield goes back up. It forces me to pop my super earlier than I wanted to and ultimately just kind of waste my super. Luckily, I am able to take out the champion, but it's really not doing me any favors and really wanted to be able to save that for boss damage anyways. Am I alive? Yes, but also there's so many different variables you want to keep in mind as you're doing a solo flawless run. So if you want to be more aggressive, you can take those types of moves to be able to push a little bit harder and faster, but you better be ready to back it up just in case something goes south. Feeling a little bit more in control, I push back up. I feel like, okay, it's only the boss. That's all I have left. I have enough ammo and abilities to be able to take it out. So I'm playing my shield. I pushed up forward and I'm just going to make that happen. Unfortunately, once again, I do not account for the fact that as I get the boss lower, I actually am spawning more enemies. So now I am completely surrounded, not only by the boss's deadly attack, we got turrets, we got trash ads. I need to get the heck out of there. So as best I can, I'm playing my abilities. Suspension, again, with Strand just plays a really good role. If you're doing stasis and freezing, that also works, but I have to get out of there because I need to be in a better position. Once I'm generally in safe positioning, I'm playing this ledge, as you can see, to go ahead and take out these trash ads. I want to be able to take out the champion and these other ads, but I need to be able to take out the really low health guys first so that I'm in a better position. My shield, I call it a shield. I know it's a barricade, y'all, but taking my shield as a way to be able to give me some shelter, I'm now providing myself multiple angles to stay safe. That little cubby I created for myself is really great, but again, I still need to push forward. So you see, peek in and out, keep it moving, peek in and out, do damage, get a kill, keep it moving. Never forgetting to check ammo, make sure I'm ready to go into the next fight, and proceeding to the next engagement. One thing to just mention again is that I am definitely keeping in mind the ability to do finishers and get threat lanes spawned in order to help me keep control of the situation. Threat lanes not only help me get a little bit of free damage in, but also, as you see right there, they kind of also direct me to where the enemy is. So that's also a utility that they can have if you really wanted to use it. Maybe not in this lost sector, but in other lost sectors, that if you get a finisher off and you see where the threat lane is going, even without radar, because it's a master lost sector, it kind of gives you a sense of direction of where the enemies are. You can do this with other classes and subclasses, thinking about the Arc Soul, thinking about the Void Buddy. There's other ways to do this, again, using your abilities to the best of your advantage. Back to gameplay, I pushed the boss's health, but I didn't realize that when you push the boss's health, another round of ads gets spawned. Again, this is a very common mechanic within Destiny 2 with these type of bosses, mini bosses, bosses in different encounters. If you're prepared to go aggressive and you want to just hit those head on, then go ahead. But more often than not, it's better to play it safe. So you see me back all the way up, get into a better position, and regroup so I can get ready for the next encounter and ultimately finish off this lost sector. If you haven't already noticed, I am absolutely 1000% prioritizing taking out the snipers more than the other trash ads when it comes down to it, because for whatever reason, Bungie decided to code snipers in every aspect of this game to be just unusually lethal. So again, knowing that they're just gonna do a lot of damage, even if I have sniper damage resist on, I'd rather just play it safer, get the snipers out of there, and get back to killing all the other ads afterward. As you can probably already tell, this corner is my best friend during this specific lost sector. Again, for the purposes of a walkthrough, I am exaggerating the use and dragging out some of these encounters a little bit longer than we should, but again, I just want you to have enough visual time to really see what I'm looking at, as well as the encounters that I'm putting myself into. In lost sectors, whether it's this one or another one, you want to be able to find whatever that sweet spot is for you, where you can play cover, protect your life, get kills, move forward, rinse and repeat. And maybe don't miss your wayframe grenade launcher hits. Like maybe don't miss those. But again, one thing to just keep in the back of your mind is you always want to be aware of what's in your arsenal, how much ammo you got, where your abilities are. All those components are going to be vital for your survival. If you're just playing fast and loose, you're gonna fail, point blank period. That's why, as you can see here, I am doing damage with my weapons and purposely saving my super till I am sure that I'm ready to use it and that it's going to be able to knock out the boss and get the clear. Utilizing burst glide to get an angle over my shield, but also keeping safe because I'm using this pillar as cover, and then I am getting damage in. We're now at the 1/3 mark, or the last third, if you will, of the boss's health. I am backing all the way up to this right side corner because it's done me well, but also keeps me in good range for my weapons. Again, I'm using mainly short to mid range weapons. It also just gives me a second look to ensure that I've gotten all the other enemies, because one, I want to be able to have that under my belt that I killed all the enemies, but also I don't want to get a sneak attack and accidentally get killed when I don't mean to. Also just gives me a couple extra seconds to build back up my abilities. As you see, I have my shackle grenade, I have my melees, I'm messing up my waveform grenade, but again, I went into this last little bit of the boss's health ready to go. As I'm peeking, I'm chipping away at health. I'm just triple, quadruple checking there's no other enemies, that this is going to be the last enemy. And as I feel comfortable, I back up, reload my weapons, get ready for this last bit of the engagement, playing all my angles, staying safe. Pop super, taking out the boss, and then we are done. All in all, the Lost Sector taking about 17 minutes, as you can see in the corner, with some exaggerated errors. Honestly, this is a Lost Sector you can do extremely fast. I'd say even on Master, completing this in 3 to 5 minutes is very reasonable. Even if you're new to the Lost Sector, once you've gotten 1 or 2 runs in, you've gotten a feel for, one, the character that you're using, the loadout that you're using, as well as just a general layout of the Lost Sector, you're gonna feel really comfortable. And this one being one of the easier ones in terms of it's just a little bit shorter, it's a lot easier to manage for those pieces. Easy peasy, and in fact, lemon squeezy. So if you like this content, stay tuned for more. That's why I can say we definitely have a lot of content like this. We have social commentary, we have community discussions, all types of content with the ultimate goal of game, learn, grow. That's the slogan that we have here. We're just here to have fun, meet new people, and get better at the game while we're here. So if you like this, or if you just want to get in some PvE helps, you want to run some of these type of activities with other people, you can stop by our live stream both here on YouTube as well as Twitch, where we do PvE helps, we run dungeons, we do just about every kind of PvE help you can think of, while also hopefully getting you some new friends along the way with some chill peeps that we have here in our community. I appreciate you taking the time to view this content and support. Likes and subscribes are greatly appreciated. Not necessary, but they are appreciated. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing all you Guardians Starside at the next one. Peace.